and my name is Kat Wendorf, and many of you know me as Lady Travel from Top Secret Travel. Today is Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. For this week's Lucky Leprechaun Pie, we have the following news stories. Please be careful to note these are just recaps of the news that we happened upon and are not in any way meant to reflect Top Secret Travel or the host agency's views. As spring break starts up in Miami Beach, officials enforce new rules. The city of Miami Beach is implementing curfews, DUI checks, and safety patrols, including closing the beaches overnight. The crackdown is working. So far this past weekend, the city's entire police force, local, state, and federal agencies reported a quieter weekend. Making it more challenging to get to the South Beach, there's just one lane of traffic, and you have to get through a DUI checkpoint. Frustrating for the locals, no doubt. Beach access stops at 6 p.m. and parking prices were raised from $30 to $100 per day. Yes, $100 per day. Liquor stores close at 8 p.m. and no outdoor seating for some restaurants along the strip. Miami Beach launched a public service announcement. Spring break and Miami Beach are breaking up. But teenage breakups never last for long, do they? In Central Florida, Daytona Beach spring breakers, along with remnants of Bike Week revelers, are being met with cooler weather and some rip currents in the water. The self-proclaimed time traveler who goes by the handle @RadiantTimeTraveler on TikTok says he's back from the year 2671 with a warning of upcoming disasters. Eno has more than 826,000 TikTok followers who listen to his predictions. He claims the following. On March 28th, ancient artifact is going to be found. When touched, it sends you to another universe. It's called Pandora's Box. The universes can be very similar or completely different, like people being Dorito-shaped. Doritos. Are they Cool Ranch? April 2nd, a 9.8 magnitude earthquake called Big John occurs on the San Andreas fault line. Soon after this, a 750-foot tsunami hits the California coastline. Many large cities are in ruins, including San Francisco. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, no offense, guy, just curious, how much was it for you to fuel up your pump to return to tell us these stories? I know I paid about $3 a gallon at Costco myself. Well, you know, if it works, it works. Let's see here. What do we have? The first news story, the big one that I have for you, I happened upon when my goddaughter asked if we had a connection for attraction tickets. Disneyland prices are going up again. Disneyland still has a 6-tier ticket process with a single park ticket at $104. But most of the other tiers are seeing between $5 and $15 in increases. The most expensive tier now will cost you about $194 a day. They introduced a child ticket that starts selling on October 24th for only $50, but you have to wait until after October 24th. Talking about the Magic Key passes, the Imagine Pass, which was the lowest, increased by $50 now to the whooping sum of $499. The Enchant is now $849. The Believe is now $1,249, and the Inspire will cost you about $1,649. Don't forget your parking is now $35 or $55 if you're in the preferred. Wait, wasn't this the most friendliest place on Earth? What? Hey, Radiant Time Traveler, what's the price in 2671? Oh, never mind. I don't want to know. Well, let's see. On to other news. Upcoming Atlantic hurricane season literally in hot water. The North Atlantic sea surface temperature is now 4.5 standard deviations above the 2020 climatological mean. What that means is, in translation, that 1 in a 280,000 year event, which is very troubling for researchers. Researchers say the basin of bathwater could lead to the formation of extreme hurricanes this year. Adding to the list, Norwegian halts sailings for 2 ships over the Red Sea tensions. The Norwegian Sky Dawn and the Sky's voyages have been changed. Norwegian Dawn sailings between October 27th, 2024 and November 22nd have been canceled. Also, the Sky sailings between November 4th and December 4th will not proceed as planned. The cruise line expressed its ongoing concern for the situation in the Red Sea, where the Houthi rebels are targeting cargo ships with drone attacks. From Princess Cruise Lines, guests will find the spellbound nestled beyond a nondescript door amidst the sensational confines of the newest princess ship, Sun Princess. You'll hear me talk a lot about her. She's beautiful. Where they'll enjoy incredible feats of magic from talented magicians, surprises in themed rooms, and theatrical cocktails delivered by sleight of hand servers. Doesn't that sound like fun? We are excited to introduce Spellbound by Magic Castle and take the art of magic around the world aboard the spectacular new Sun Princess, said John Pageant, president of Princess Cruises. This collaboration with the Magic Castle takes entertainment into new dimensions with an extraordinary experience that combines the allure of magic with the thrill of cruising. Spellbound will become an iconic guest favorite on Sun Princess. The next story is about Royal. Royal Caribbean cancels the inaugural sale of Icon class Star of the Seas due to the amount of work still needed to complete the under construction ship. She was scheduled to debut in August of 2025. While we're working hard on completing our newest Icon class ship, Star of the Seas, and after a review of the work that remains to be done, we unfortunately are going to delay the ship's delivery date, the cruise line said. Another story concerning Royal Caribbean is bigger, always better. The arrival of the world's largest cruise ship, Icon of the Seas, has challenged us to consider the actual impact of these floating giants on our ports, communities, and the environment. With 8 neighborhoods, 7 pools, 9 hot tubs, and 6 water slides, the Icon weighs in at over 250,000 gross tons. How does that affect the ports they call on? Taking a small island such as Bimini, which is 8.8 miles, it certainly can't handle over 5,000 more visitors a day. Venice, Italy banned cruise ships to try to repair over-tourism. If the ship is heavier than 25,000 tons, it can't dock in Venice. Other ports limit the amount of cruise ship traffic per day. For a while, Key West was banning traffic. I guess only time will tell how these large ships are received. What do you think about the ultra mega large ship? Is that your preference? Or do you want to see the smaller vessels in the future? Comment below. Let's get a discussion going on this subject. In other royal happenings, Royal Caribbean responds to the Haiti tensions and on the calls to levity. With all the tension in Haiti following a prison break and months of escalating violence, Royal has implemented steps that are being taken to make sure that all guests are safe and can enjoy their visit at Royal's private 260-acre resort on the north coast of Haiti, which is the nation's mainland. A recent prison break that freed almost 4,000 criminals in the Port-au-Prince capital has caused such unrest that the embassies have begun pulling out their non-essential personnel in an overnight operation. Gang violence continued to escalate this past weekend, and the U.S. increased their security around the mission in the nation's capital. In the statement from Royal, the safety of our guests and crew is our top priority. Our global security teams are closely monitoring the situation in the area. The statement read, at all times, we remind guests to remain aware of their surroundings while ashore and follow all State Department guidelines. Should any changes be required, guests will be notified directly. Greek ports reach record-breaking cruise ship arrivals. Greece's popularity is soaring for cruise ship arrivals. They welcomed over 7 million cruise passengers in 2023, breaking former records with 5,230 cruise ships arriving. That is a 9.41 increase. The Greek cruise port officials see this as a win for the local community and the national economy. We personally sailed out of the port of Pyrrhus in August on Virgin Voyages Resilient Lady, and I can attest to how busy the ports are there. In other news stories, Delta Airlines pilot caught with 2 bottles of Jägermeister in his luggage pleaded guilty to turning up drunk for a flight. What? What? A Delta Airlines captain pleaded guilty and admitted he went to work over the legal amount of alcohol, as reported by BBC News. Captain Lawrence Russell was due to fly a Boeing 767 from Edinburgh to New York last June. Airport security officers found 2 bottles of Jägermeister in his luggage, and one was half empty. The pilot was arrested after he failed a breathalyzer, and a blood sample found that he was more than double the legal limit. The UK's legal limit for pilots is 20 mg per 100. He will be sentenced later this month. United flight goes off the runway and rolls on the grass, forcing passengers to evacuate in the latest of Boeing's drama. The United Airlines flight went off the runway at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport Friday morning, forcing passengers to evacuate. The Boeing 737 MAX 8 arrived from Memphis and rolled onto the grass when exiting the taxiway around 8 a.m. per the FAA. The passengers deplaned on the taxiway and were bused to the terminal. None of the 160 passengers on board were injured. They used the stairs to exit the plane. The plane was seen tilting to the one side with its left wing touching the ground of the runway. Ugh. In other United news, boy, oh boy, they just can't catch a break. On Monday, a flight was forced to make an emergency landing back in Houston just after takeoff for Fort Myers, when flames could be seen coming out of the engine. What? Another inter-flight barbecue chicken being prepared. Did they know I was coming? And then another United flight, Japan bound, was diverted to LAX after the tire fell off during takeoff and damaged cars below. The Houston Fire Department and the Houston Airport Operations responded and safely evacuated all of the passengers. That's 2 for Houston this week. Oh, Houston, I think we have a problem. United, unfortunately, you're totally in the spotlight. 50 people injured by strong movement on a Boeing plane flying from Australia to New Zealand. 50 people were injured Monday by what LATAM Airlines described as a strong movement on the Chilean plane going from Sydney to Auckland, New Zealand. The Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, landed at the Auckland airport as scheduled and was going to continue on to Santiago, Chile. The plane announced it just dropped. It just dropped like anything I've ever experienced on any kind of minor turbulence, and people were thrown out of their seats, hit the top of the roof of the plane, thrown down the aisles. Passenger Brian told the ABC News in Australia on Tuesday. Some of the roof panels were broken from people being thrown up and knocking through the plastic roof panels in the aisleways, and there was blood coming from several people's heads. Oof. According to another passenger on the flight, the pilot told those on board that he temporarily lost control of the plane after one of its instruments failed. That's when I opened my eyes, and there were various individuals at the top of the plane, just stuck to the roof, and they fell to the floor. And just then I realized I'm not in a movie. This is actually for real, he told CNN's Aaron Burnett. The airline said it was working with officials to support an investigation into what happened. Passengers were met by paramedics and more than 10 emergency vehicles when the flight touched down at Auckland. About 50 people were treated at the scene for mostly minor injuries, while 13 were hospitalized, an ambulance spokesperson said. LATAM said out of 13, the majority were discharged soon after. Only one person that was aboard and one cabin crew member needed additional attention, but without any life-threatening risks. Passengers said a number of people weren't wearing their seatbelts when the flight LA800 suddenly dropped. Lately, I have less than zero desire to fly. Sometimes we need the bird to take us to some of these great places that we're talking about. So for that, I guess Benadryl is my best friend. The last story I want to share with you today is with less of a hangover effect. The TSA unveils passenger self-screening lanes at Vegas Airport as a step into the future. Federal airport security officials unveiled passenger self-screening lanes the first week of March at the Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas, and they plan to test it for use in other cities around the country. How do we step into the future? This is a step, said the system designer Dimitri, Science and Technology under the Secretary at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The interface with people makes all of the difference. The TSA checkpoints, starting only in Las Vegas and only for TSA pre-check customers that use the English language, will test the do-it-yourself instructions telling you how to smoothly pass through the pre-flight screening with your carry-on luggage and with little to no help from the officers. Instead of a gray stack of the bins that we're used to, this futuristic inspection system looks like a Starship MRI machine. It has auto-return bins and sanitization trays with ultraviolet lights indicating users. Wowee, what a time saver this will be. I am so interested to try this out. We appreciate you listening to us today, and I hope that this channel will bring you the content that you need as a consumer to make an informed decision when you're deciding how and where and how much to spend on your travel plans and who to book through. Top Secret Travel. We encourage you to like and subscribe and tell your friends and coworkers all about us. Please go out, shop your cruise, shop your destination hotel travel, and then send an email to info@topsecrettraveltips.com and see if we can't price match you or give you a perk for booking through one of our agents. And I assure you, you will be very happy if you do. Until the next time, travel like a king or a queen. Bye for now.